Happy to have you here on this chat about our buttons. We can have such fun with ourselves, with our sweet innocence as human beings. Innocent as in we've been shown a way of life, how things go, how things work. And it's all just a big misunderstanding. So let's begin by breathing today and really, really landing here. Landing in this moment, in time. Looking to the breath for just a couple of minutes. Noticing where we are. Noticing that even with our eyes closed, we can be aware that we're still here. We can be aware that we're seated or standing, maybe walking, maybe driving. Don't close your eyes. We can be aware of the feeling of various things. But we can only be present to one at a time. When I say the breath, our attention goes there, and we can notice it going in and out. As I'm talking, I'm noticing that there's a breath that is sustaining me and allowing my words to come out. And that I'm actually not, my breathing is a little bit shallow as I take in just enough, or maybe not quite enough, breath to say all the words that want to come out. And when we look not with our eyes, but with our senses, that we're in a space and there's maybe other sounds. I can hear the sound of my computer humming. But when our attention is on that, we've become unaware of our breath. Let's just have a couple deeper breaths together. And let's come into the room and be present to each other. Hello, Elena. So nice to see you. This idea of that we can only put our attention on one thing at a time can play into this whole button pushing thing. So my intent for you by the end of this call, through this call, is to see something new for yourself around your buttons and other people's buttons, maybe that are close to you and maybe you live with them or you work with them. You know what it seems like. And just to be clear, when I'm talking about a button, it's like those things that we talk about, like, he pushes my buttons, or she knows just how to push my buttons. And buttons could be various things. It could be something as wonderful as your grandbaby smiling up at you, a big grin. And they're pushing some buttons in you. In essence, they are eliciting, and it's not, okay, this is what it looks like. It looks like that sweet little babe is eliciting this squishy, gooey, tingly, just want to hug them response from you. That's what it looks like. When, you've asked your child 867,221 times to pick up their clothes, put their clothes away. And they don't. And a button gets pushed. Really, it seems that, it could seem like various things. It could seem that, they just don't respect me, or they just don't listen, or whatever. But there's a reaction that comes, and it seems that it's because of the clothes not being picked up. So it seems that when you hear something on the news that you don't agree with, you would like to see it another way, you hear of someone's pain, you hear of a misjustice being done to another, and there's responses that are triggered within us. And that's fine. It's fine. But if what often will happen is a response comes out, if it's on the news or something like that, something where you don't feel like you can do anything about, but it's produced this sensation in you, this emotion, and it can spill out in other places in our life, on other people, on ourselves. And typically it's not helpful. If it comes out in a, hey, can I talk with you about this? I saw this thing on the news and it's just like revving me up, and I just want to like hash it out, just want to talk it out, or there might be something like that, but often we don't do that. And sometimes the other isn't prepared either. Sometimes you might be talking to another one who has a similar button as you, who has a similar reaction to that kind of story. And then what can happen is you both get into it. Oh yeah, I know that's horrible, that's awful, and how can they do that? And then it seemed like there was release in talking about it. Yet the other jumps in, and then you both get churning around, feeling worse, feeling more helpless or hopeless. And in that state of mind, there's no place for any kind of response that could be heard from a deeper place within that would serve you better. We can look at the simple things. Simple as in, they might seem simple to others, but they're not simple to me. They're important to me. So we can, when we're defending our buttons, our reactions, our triggers, our reasons for getting worked up, our reasons for getting emotional, for having those sensations rise up in your body, we can defend them. You should pick up your clothes. You should do that. You need to know how to do this. It's a life skill. And one day you're going to, be with a partner and they're going to want you to, there's all these things that we can throw out and try to convince someone else to honor my button. And really your button is just something that you're attached to, something you feel strongly about. Now, some of these things are something that a lot of people would feel strongly about. When I hear of a mistreatment of anyone really, but it seems that my reaction is stronger when it's with an animal or a child or someone who is not a capable adult. Interestingly, I never really saw that until I just said it out loud, but it's true that there certainly is a stronger reaction for those that are relying on another to care for them. And then there's a mistreatment of that. So there are things, I'm not suggesting that we need to let all this go. But it's really helpful to understand where the feeling is coming from. It's really helpful to understand why. Because if we're just in a reactive position, we're usually not capable of doing something to be of help or assistance. We can get overwhelmed with our own emotions and just kind of get locked there. We might feel that there's nothing for me to do. What am I going to do? I don't know if any of you have I've seen it twice now, the movie The Sound of Freedom. It was inspiring. And it is, anyways, I just realized that this could be triggering talk, what I'm talking about, and I don't need to speak about this kind of content because it's kind of true all over with all the things that we react to. It looks like all of the things that are happening, that people are doing or saying, causing, that all of those things are causing what we're feeling. They are the reason. And when, and I know we've all experienced it, this is how we've been taught. This is how we've been taught how the world works. But it's not so. And when we test it out, I'm a big fan of testing it out, not just taking what I say, just test it out in your life. That when you can see that, right, even when, because have there been times when this stuff has been happening where the clothes haven't been picked up, but you were actually unaware of it for a week and you were totally fine, in good state? And then it comes to your awareness like, oh my gosh, you haven't been picking up your clothes. And then you feel it. So many of the things that we can get riled up about, we only get riled up about them when we think about them. They were a fact before. The clothes were on the floor before. And my world was not changing. And now I know about it. Why? Because I'm attached, because I think it should be done. I'm not saying what anyone should hang their hat on as what is important to them. That is like a personal preference. But when our response to the defending of these things affects us negatively in our life, affects our relationships, kind of carries over and bleeds into other parts of our relationship that have nothing to do with the clothes. But sometimes we'll start like looking, what else? What else is he not doing? What else can I pin on him? What other reason can I give to be irked with him? When we come to see more that, oh, it's me. I'm creating this. Yeah, I'd prefer that to be picked up. But how big of a deal we feel it is all of our own doing. That's really good to know. It's really good to know that it's not the other. Because when we understand where that reaction is coming from, only from inside, it's never being caused by something outside. It's our own psychological event. Our own thoughts and feelings, they rise together. It's like you can't have a thought. And have you ever noticed that the stronger you feel about something, feel not emotionally, the more hooked in you are in something that you believe, the stronger the feeling. Notice that. That's really important to notice. Because you have so many thoughts crossing your mind in a day, you're just unaware of them. We just don't know. There's just so many. They just come and they go so quickly. That's good news, by the way. But there are so many that go by that they're fleeting, a fleeting thought. And we might notice it. But many we don't even notice. Many are circling around in there. And we're so grooved into them that we don't notice them either. We miss it because we've adopted them almost like that's me. But who you really are, what you really are, would never have you feeling and living in that undesired experience of energy and sensation. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be opposition to something. But when we can recognize that, oh, I feel strongly about this. And just noticing that, oh, I feel strongly about this. And not getting all caught up in your own thought storm and blame and complain and criticize. Or stick your head in the sand and hide because it's just so horrible. I can't deal with it. I gotta turn away. Just noticing, I feel really strongly about this. And kind of allowing that. You will allow clear-minded space, a clear mind, a clearer and cleaner mind for something from your inner wisdom to come up and guide you on whether there's something to do. The question might have come up, it's like, wow, I feel strongly about this. What could I do? There might, and something might come up. Follow it. Do it. What often can happen is, that's like if we're thinking about a larger thing, like something you've seen on the news that's happening in the world. It's just like, it's just too much. What difference is it going to make? Something like that. If something is coming up from within, and it might not even seem directly related, but if something is coming up from within in response to that question, like what could I do? How could I see this differently? Is there something for me to do? Maybe if it's someone close to you, it's having a quiet conversation with them, really getting present to them. Being willing to listen to them as much as you desire to be listened to. And having a conversation. And say just that. I've discovered that, you know what? I'm really, this is important to me. You might be guided once you become aware. And this was kind of some homework that I was going to invite you to take away, is get curious about it. Why do I feel so strongly about this? Is it really important? Some things, like the clothes, because it used to be really important for all these clothes to be picked up for my son and my daughter and everybody else, or things on the cupboard, the dumping ground. I'm finding that it's so much less important than it was. I'm not saying that it's like I can walk by and see things there and not be bothered. And then see if this happens to you. See if this happens to you. That you're not bothered, And then something else bothers you. Something else is mulling about in your mind. And then you see those things, and now it's a big deal. Now, it's like a stacking. And all of a sudden you just like tip. Now it's a big deal. So how important is it really? Is it really important? Or is it just, it's just when I'm feeling like out of control of myself or this or that, then all of that is important. Then I just need can everyone just pick up after themselves? And that's just a reaction to things building up in our mind that we're not just being present to and seeing, is there something to do with this? I'm just going to check in here. Hi, Liddy. Hello. Perfect timing. Well, I'm interested to hear why this is such perfect timing for you. Blessings from Canada. Awesome. And lots of love. Love to you too. Where are you in Canada, Liddy? Oh, you're in Alberta too. Excellent. I'm in Okotoks. It is indeed. It is indeed sunny today. Yeah. A lot of our buttons sometimes are just our assumptions. They can be just assumptions. I mean, whether it's assumptions or whatever it is, there's something deeper. There's always something deeper. There's usually, and often if you go down to the root of it, it's usually related to some kind of insecurity, fear. And then we'll attack, defend, And it's okay if it's something that's really important. Oh, I was getting on to a job interview in romantic life. Ah, I see. A job interview in romantic life. Well, this will be wonderful, because isn't it so that in the beginning of a relationship, when we're connecting with another, and things are often, we're looking for the good. We're connecting to the things that we connect to. And we're not seeing the clothes lying on the floor, it's not so important. and then all of a sudden it is. It's kind of a funny thing, right? Dating insecure men has not helped. Yeah. And let's face it, many of us do have some kind of insecurity. But when we can understand that we're only ever scaring ourselves, we're only ever that feeling of insecurity is only coming from our own thinking. That's it, that's all. Ever, forever, only. So what okay, great. So what about that? Well, what do I do with that? And really, I was going to say there is no magic easy button. We keep looking for them. We keep looking for them. I do too. I'm always looking for easier. But I know it's only going to come from within. And being here in Insight Timer, I'm thinking that you have a sense of that too. It's coming from within. That's where all your best answers are. And there might be something that comes from me, but it's not what works for me is going to work for you. My hope is that I'm going to spark your own inner wisdom. I'm going to, in some way help to relieve some of the thinking that makes living, making decisions, functioning, navigating in our world less explosive, more calm. When we have a calmer mind, when we have less thinking on our mind, we are more likely to hear wisdom. And we can hear it. Hi, Nicholas. We're making always an idea of ourselves. Yeah. There is those moments that could happen where you can hear something so deeply that, wow, everything will change. You can look at your life, and that's just an insight. That's just a sight from within. Always starts with yourself, lady. Always. Always. Yeah. The easier button. Anyway, the whole idea of making your buttons unpushable is understanding that they're not pushable. No one can touch your button. There's no button. There's no button. It's all our own thinking. So we can notice some things. We can get curious. We can get curious about, it doesn't matter why we are so strongly hooked into something that we believe. My husband doesn't like anyone stepping on his pillow. Yeah, easy button, right? But we keep looking for it. I was at a call this morning with one of my, what I call a mentor. I've had her in my world a number of times over the past few years. Mavis Karn, her name is. She's a master at listening, and she's 82, I think now, 82 years old, and was a psychiatrist at a time in her life, and now she helps people understand how wonderful, how amazing and miraculous they are, and that there's nothing to fix, and that we're only ever experiencing our own thinking. And once you're aware of it, if there's going to be an easy button, this is it. Awareness. I should make a little awareness, red awareness button. And that's why you'll often hear me say, just notice. Because we have the capacity to be aware, but often we stick our head in the sand. We don't want to be aware. We might have all kinds of thinking about what it means to be aware. Because then I'm going to have to do something. Maybe, maybe not. But if there's something to do, and if it's coming from wisdom, from your inner wisdom, it is not going to be a big deal. It is going to be something that you are able and capable and actually will want to do. Will you have your personal mind, your ego mind, come in and try and keep you, don't, stop, hold on, sounds dangerous, I don't understand, you don't know where that's going to, you don't know what's going to happen. You might get that trying to come in. And I still do it. I shared a story a couple of weeks ago about hearing wisdom say something to me. It was very simple. It was about going for a walk. And it was just like, no, I don't want to. And then it was just like, oh my gosh. That's how easily we can hear our inner voice, our inner wisdom. That infinitely creative potential energy that is wanting to live and express through us. gives us a little nudge, and then we go, no. It's only guiding us to what is good, for what good will come from it, for the better feeling and experience of being who we individually are. And I say individually, because we're all the same, we're all lived by the same energy. And this is infinitely creative energy. It's not going to make us all the same. It's going to have some fun and give us different personalities, different quirks, different things, different abilities, different strengths, so we got to lean on each other and work with each other. It's going to give us different experiences so we can come to calls like this and we can share little bits as we feel like we want to. And we can spark in another that I was going to come from up here, but it does. It comes from inside. Our thoughts end up in the same sort of kind of place. It's just a feeling. It's a sensation. Our thoughts. We talk about our mind, our personal mind, and then our universal mind. But we're all unique. So it's like this energy is expressing through us and then gets to experience it. So it wants you to be you, unique. It doesn't want you to be like everybody else. Oh yeah, you have to stop. Need the stop button? And Gary says that's what he needs too. I invite you to get curious about, and if you want to explore a button, if you want to explore something, I'm happy to, let's take another real life thing, if you care to. But let's get curious about the things that we feel so strongly about. Oh, I was talking about Rob not wanting people stepping on his pillow. And, we have 2 kids. Our kids used to be little, and there used to be jumping on the bed and stepping on pillows, and it's just one of those things. And we kind of laugh a little about it because he's or sitting on his pillow. Doesn't like that either. It's like, that's okay. I respect that. The kids got to respect, now everybody know. I'm like, don't. And who wants someone's feet really on their pillow or their bum? But there's no, you can get curious about it, and it's just something. It's just something. It's like, yeah, okay, I can respect that. So sometimes it doesn't matter, really. So, it's just the thought of it. It's just the thought of someone's feet, even if we've all just gotten out of the bathtub, or the shower. It doesn't matter. Just don't step on my pillow, please. Okay. Some things are different. Now, there are some things that we feel so strongly about, and we think, why doesn't everyone, why aren't you respecting this? Don't you get this? Don't you get? And it's like, the thing is, no. We don't get each other. This is a great one, Liddy, for new relationships. Any relationship. We don't really get each other. We think we do. We resonate on certain levels, and we think that we get each other. But there is so much life that has been lived. And there's so much past thinking. That's what's in here. In here, in this personal mind, that's all that's in there is the past. It doesn't know anything about the future, although it'll try to tell you that it does. Don't do that, because this could happen, or that could happen, or this could be dangerous, or No, what will they think of you? You can't do that. You've never done that before. No, you're too old, too young, too this, too that. Not enough of that. It'll all in an effort to try and keep you safe, and you can just say, shh, quiet, quiet, quiet. It's okay. It's okay. I got this. It will quiet. But not until you become aware of it. I think I was going somewhere with that. And maybe it'll come back. Right. I was talking about that it seems that we get each other, but we don't, because we have all of this past experience. And even twins. I know twins and triplets even, and they have a very different perspective on things. Some things are similar, of course. We all have some similar things. Many of us, most of us do, have some things that are kind of similar. We can find something that we will agree on. But there's many things that we don't even know that we feel that way. I know I've said things in this room that it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And that's why it's good to have someone to talk to speak with, to explore with. And if you don't, that's okay. You can do that with yourself. Just have a date, have a tea, have a coffee with yourself. What is this about? This is how I'm feeling about that. Like, just talk it out loud. Talk it into your phone or whatever. You don't even have to listen back. But explore. Get curious about those things that seem to get you, like trigger you. Is it important? Like, why is this important? Maybe it isn't. Maybe it is a question you want to ask. You don't have to go digging into your past. It's because sometimes, like, I don't know. Does it even make sense? Is there something I actually believe more now? Because so many things we picked up when we were kids, right? And we don't even know, but we don't have to go back there. Just know, does this make sense to me today? Because that's the thing, the whole thing about getting each other. Sorry, I still haven't finished that thought. We can't know what makes sense to someone else exactly. We can agree on, we don't agree with this, the way, something is happening in the world. We can agree to some of those things, but if we go deeper, we might find that we agree generally, but if you go back dig a little deeper, you'll find that, I agree, like we agree on the same thing, but not for the same reasons. And that's where lines can get crossed. Misunderstandings happen. Conflict in relationships can happen. So it's really like, get curious and have fun with it. What is this about this thing? Maybe you don't even care so much about the thing. Maybe it's that you feel like, he doesn't respect me. And that's why he keeps doing that thing. Well, it probably has nothing, maybe, I don't know whether it has anything to do with that or not. So it's not even about them doing the thing. You just want to feel respected. Well, that comes from you first. you. You don't feel anyone else's respect. You only feel what you're making about, what you're making of what you're interpreting someone else's response to you. Your world, it's like an inside system. And we get to play out here. But everything that you're experiencing is only coming from you. Only ever. That I came to this understanding that we feel our thinking, that it's an inside-out world. We only ever experience our own, what we're experiencing is the feelings, the sensations of our own thinking, only and ever. That no one, nothing can provoke that in me. There's no buttons. It's just one, it's me. I'm the button. And in some areas, I can see it. And some areas, I can see it and then I can't. I can see it and then I can't. So we're here for the duration of the lifetime of the body that we're in. The spirit that we are, because we are like 99.99999% formless energy. And there's like 0.00001 that is this physical being. Our spirit, when our body is done, when it's all used up, it's served whatever purpose infinite wisdom has. And there's not just one purpose. We have every moment of every day we have a purpose. My purpose right now is to be here with you in this room. Earlier, my purpose was to sit with Mavis Karn and talk about listening and presence. And then it was driving my daughter to school. It was feeding my dog, giving him a rub down. My purpose changes moment to moment. There's not just one purpose. You are a purposeful human. We are all purposeful humans. And we're looking for this big one, this something. What's my purpose? You're living it. Every moment you're living it. An invitation I would love to give is like that in the moment, because that's all you got, is to live that purpose out as fully as you can. How much joy, how much wonder, how present can I be to everything that's possible in the moments that it takes me to drive my daughter to school, in scrubbing my dog with my fingers, and he loves it, and he groans, and he moans, and he just, he is so present to it. Has anybody ever seen that in a dog or a cat or whatever? Like any animal, they are just so present to your love and attention. And we can be that for ourselves. Yes, Christine. Hi, Christine. Yeah. Oh. We've got such wonder in our life. And when just a little bit of noticing that, and just a little bit of reminding ourselves, like go test it out. If this is new words to you, Christine, all my dogs have taught me presence. Oh, yeah. That's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. If you're new to this whole idea, I see it as truth. I've proven to me that it's true. And I invite you to go test it out in your life. That you think and you feel. You're thinking, only yours. If this wasn't true, we would be in a much bigger mess if this wasn't true. Because we would be feeling everything from out there, and we just don't. We just don't. And we can't. Some things to remember are that we're always doing the best we can with our current understanding of the moment, with what makes sense to us in the moment. Everybody is, not just us. So when you have this thought, when you forget that, oh, right, it's me, I'm only experiencing my thoughts, but oh my God, but I really want them to stop that. Like my kids, they didn't stop jumping on Dad's pillow the first time they heard it. They never really even thought about it in the beginning because they just jumped all over the bed. Didn't matter what was in the way. They would actually stack the pillows up and jump on them on purpose. They weren't trying to be malicious. They actually just didn't have a thought about it. They are doing the best they can with what makes sense to them in the moment. And if this will get you any peace at all about things that are happening in the world that you feel like you have no control, no say, no nothing about, you just don't want to think about it. But what you could know is that they too are doing the best they can with what makes sense to them in the moment. And then I would like to add in, let's just, a hope, a prayer, or whatever, a wish for them to see something new, something different. That will allow for more peace and kindness and love and care. Less fear, more love. It kind of went all over. I'm glad something made sense. We're connected. Yeah. Notice what you react to. Notice what others react to. Notice when you continue to do things that you know that others are going to react to. Just notice. Hi, lady. Doing what makes sense in the moment, you and those that push your buttons. Less fear and more love. That's brilliant. Me too. I'm going away. You're welcome, lady. I'm going away to notice more too. And it's a choice. It's a choice to notice. Because we can listen and I can say this, but if I'm not doing it, and I do, could I do it more? I could. Because I know that the more I know, the more I become aware of, the more choice I have. I've actually at times, it's like, okay, hold off. I have so many, I can make so many new decisions now. It's just like, I'm seeing, and then that is a time where it's just like, I need to go for a walk, or I need to take in something, because it'll feel like, oh my God, I'm knowing so much. Look at, and then we can get caught up in what we notice. Oh, what was I thinking? Why was I doing that? It made sense to you. That's what you were thinking. Your thinking made perfect sense to you at that time. And then when you notice something, it's like, you have an opportunity. It's like, oh, I can't think that anymore. It no longer makes sense to me. So actually, some decisions are just taken away. Wisdom has said, yep, good. You're done with that. That doesn't make sense anymore. Will you sometimes forget, possibly, because all you have is, because there's that habit in there. But a habit can go in a moment. As soon as something makes new sense to you, that habit can disappear. Sometimes you don't even know that something has changed. That's how it happened with me with alcohol. I just found myself not drinking anymore. And there was an event. There was something that happened. But I didn't make it happen. I wasn't even, I was under the influence when it happened, but I was so aware that it happened. And I never drank again. I don't know that I never won't, because I was never like, I can't ever drink again. It wasn't that. But all of a sudden, it didn't make the sense that it used to. I don't know if that'll change. I don't know. Hi, Mia. I'm just catching up. Nicholas, who is looking at the thinking and feelings? Yes. Who indeed? Yeah. I just had a little mind warp just now in so I don't know if I can articulate this. What I saw. Because it's not that we have a personal mind and a universal mind and the two never meet. No. They can work together. They do work together. But this one has more like, I gotta keep you safe. And will have you, shoosh away that what you're getting from someplace unknown. Where did that come from? Yeah. Who indeed? Liddy. Walking in nature helps so much, so true with overthinking. Yes, absolutely. Do you do consulting? I do. You can check in the bio thing, my website and stuff is on there. Or there's a link. There's stuff on there. Yeah. Nature. You're welcome, lady. You're welcome. I hope this has been helpful for you. Amanda, are you going to do a meditation together? I don't know. Interestingly, when you talk about meditation, good idea. I've led meditations before, but I wouldn't call myself like I'm a meditation teacher or that kind of thing. I've just let whatever come up. And people have said that's a meditation. It's like, oh, okay, well, I could do that. So, That might be fun. That might be fun. Hi, Amanda. Nicholas thinks it's a good idea. It'd be great to do it. You're great. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will sit with that. There are some other things I really would love to do here. I've actually been, well, maybe I'll do a talk about time at some point. I've been discovering a lot about time. And yeah. Anyway, we all have our own relationship. Let me just leave you with this one parting thing. That we are only, it's another way to put it, that we are only ever in relationship with our own thinking about anything. Okay, Amanda, maybe meditation on this topic we were talking about. Okay, cool. This is exciting. I'm feeling excited about that. Just about this whole meditation thing. So we'll see. Interesting that it's come up because something came up about meditation earlier in the day. It's funny how that happens, hey? Yeah. So, get curious. Have fun with your humanness and your spiritualness, the whole of you. Get curious and find out how you work. Test it out. Test it out. You'll know when, when one moment you look at your partner or something, and you think wonderful things about them, and then the next half an hour you look and it's just like, and it's all, that tells you, it's like, that's thinking right there. That's what you're feeling. That's what you're experiencing. It has nothing to do with that person or that thing or that task or that project or, yeah. I wish you all the best, truly. And if you are new, those of you who are new, if anything resonated, I'd love to see you again. Follow me and let's stay in touch. Next, I've been having some fun. I have so many ideas for talks that I overwhelm myself thinking about them. It's like, just what's next? What's next? Because we only have this moment. Just what's next? No meditation today. Oh, you're talking like right now meditation. Yeah. I did do a little breathing in the beginning. I did. Let me think about that. I've never thought about doing a live one. Live actually might be more interesting. Thank you, Liddy. I wish you a beautiful day as well. And she's wishing all a beautiful day. You're welcome, Nicholas. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Next time, Amanda. Liddy, definitely following you. Thanks. You're welcome. Lovely to meet you, fellow Barton. On Tuesday, next Tuesday, I might do another one next week, but Tuesday for sure, at 9:55 a.m. Mountain Time. It is the ripple effect of how awareness can change everything. And I have a few fun stories that kind of came up and inspired that one. So, yeah, I hope to see you again. Love to you. Ciao. Thank you for that.